1 month from release, I got an updated and first hands-on of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. We've only known about it for 3 months, so I'm sure like me you're wondering what it's all about. Here's a quick snapshot.
Keep your pants on.
Although it could be used as a distraction.
This is a high-budget, single-player game from Eidos Montreal. You know, Thief, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you get the picture. Guardians of the Galaxy definitely has that cinematic campaign feel. Then it layers in third-person shooting and melee combat, as well as issuing commands simultaneously to tag in Gamora, Drax, Groot, and Rocket. And yes, it takes inspiration from James Gunn's stylistic MCU vision, despite not having those actors. Oh, and there's even some Star Fox-like flying moments, but I didn't go hands-on with that part. There's a lot to say about the actual gameplay, but as a note, I wasn't really provided with much new footage. The footage is also pretty cut up in the first place, so you won't be seeing any new, extended gameplay really, and it's not my footage. But rest assured, I played the actual uninterrupted game. The initial E3 reveal left me feeling both excited and concerned whether or not it was ready. With this updated hands-on demo, I'm still not totally sure. For example, Square Enix says an improved user interface is coming. It was definitely cluttered and very busy during fights, so I'm wondering why we're still waiting to see such an important facet for an action game. Anyway, thankfully, I was thrust about 4 to 5 hours into the experience, aka Chapter 5. I played a good 90 minutes of the game. It's got that cinematic campaign feel, and unlike Lara just talking to herself in Tomb Raider, the quips and dialogue between the Guardians is pretty entertaining.
Feel free to try one on, Quill.
A true warrior requires no armor.
You wouldn't fit in one anyway.
To wear armor is to expect failure.
At least in the short time, I got some genuine laughs and it didn't feel forced.
Keep it together, Doc!
Bad dog! Bad dog!
Let's focus on gameplay. On the surface, you're Star-Lord. You punch, you shoot, you fly, but it's all rooted in an upgradable ability system. You've got multiple ability powers, as do the 4 Guardians. The defining factor is that you do not take direct control of them. You target enemies and you issue commands, all the while taking care of the camera, navigating Star-Lord around, dodging, etc. It's complex in that it's ultimately going to take memorization to really make it fluid. But that's the bet Eidos Montreal seems to be making here. You get a real-time action RPG command system that can also start to be combined in many ways to tackle these fights. Let's use this specific moment as an example. We use Groot to entangle a group of enemies and then have Rocket finish them off with a cluster Flark grenade. But let's actually walk through what's going on. You're Star-Lord, you hit the trigger, you pull up your Guardians, hit the square to select Groot, hit the square again to entangle everyone. You dodge back as Star-Lord, start laying into them with your blasters, hit the trigger to pull up the Guardians again, hit X for Rocket, and hit X again to cluster the Flark out of them. And yep, you better try to hit your rapid reload in the green section of your blaster gauge while you're at it. Whew, it's going to take some time. But if it's too cumbersome, you'll be able to tune down the difficulty. The Guardians do, after all, fight for themselves if you want them to. Likewise, you'll need to earn many of these abilities, so your options at the start are a bit more limited to ease you in. Meanwhile, Star-Lord has his own abilities and cooldowns going. For example, this Eye of the Hurricane move. Speaking of which, your guns also have at least 4 elemental abilities to use. So whether you're trying to freeze an enemy shield or pull an enemy towards you with wind, you'll need to manage your blasters to be successful. Many of these chaotic battles are definitely strategically designed and peppered with set-piece combat as well. That could be asking for Drax to go pick up an explosive barrel, or it could be having Gamora shoot down a platform from above to smash those below.
Guys, huddle up!
A last major element of combat is the Huddle Up, your super ability. There isn't a lot of footage, but this is the big moment the game tries to lean into Hollywood. You know, all the style from MCU. In the demo, you actually give your team a pep talk by selecting a few dialogue options. If you choose correctly, everyone gets a boost with that super. On top of all of this, there's also an upgradable perk system. That might mean purchasing a charge shot to deliver a stagger on top of regular damage with your blasters. Or it could be something more passive, like negating your gun's cooldown period for overheating. So yes, you'll be tempted to explore every corner of ships and planets to collect those materials.
Ooh, spooky.
All of this is happening at the same time, so it's really tough to judge if it's going to be satisfying and pull you forward, or if it's going to be clunky or even repetitive. For this depth, we'll have to wait and see more. I'm the type of person that feeds on this more complex gameplay. So putting aside the story, the soundtrack, and even earning cool new outfits to equip, the abilities in combat was the piece that had me wishing I had more time with the demo. So I'm optimistic and hoping it all comes together. Some of the footage we've seen seems really epic, and I didn't get to delve into it, but everything gets amped up with the smoothly integrated real-time cutscenes that really give it a blockbuster feel. So it's got potential, and I can't wait to see more. All right, thanks everyone. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up, drop me any comments or questions, and don't forget, you can find me live streaming on Twitch all the time. I'm Fran Mirabella, aka FM3, and I'll see you next time.